Today, you're going to make a small pot using the pinch pot method and the coil method. So when you get your block of clay, you're going to first rip it in half. Half means 2 equal parts. So you're going to set 1/2 aside and use 1/2 to start making a pinch pot, which is going to be the base of our clay today. So I'm squeezing it with my stop sign hands, my strong hands. My fingers are tight together into a sphere, and then I can roll it into a sphere, still using my stop sign hands, not using the table or the mat. This is all in the air. And I want to go kind of quick. The more you play with clay, the more it dries out. Once I have a sphere, I'm going to do a thumbs up and push it into the sphere about 3/4 of the way through. So that's more than halfway. I'm going to open up some pinching fingers. I can use 2, 3, or 4. I'm going to gently pinch with them tight together. Turn it with my other hand. Pinch, turn, pinch, turn. At least one time all the way around. And then I'm going to look at it and assess it. It's lopsided, so I'm going to try to make it straight up. I'm going to hold it with 2 hands. Gentle tapping helps make a flat bottom. Now, I could stop here. It's better for these walls to be too thick than too thin, and you'll see why in a minute. But I'm going to go once more around with some gentle pinching. And that should be plenty. If you pinch around too many times, this will get thin, and I'll have no shelf or space for adding my spheres and my coil. All right, so next are these little spheres. I'm going to set my pinch pot aside. I'm going to get my extra clay, and I'm going to rip this in half again. So now I have 2 about equal pieces of that. Again, I need my stop sign hands straight and strong. I'm going to squeeze this towards a hot dog shape. And then I'm going to roll it with my stop sign hands. You can roll it in the air or on the table. Either way, your fingers are straight and strong. If you open them, this is going to make it lumpy and uneven, okay? So what happens if it's uneven? If one side gets too thin or if it gets bumps, you may have to stop, smush it back together, and start over, because you really need this to be even all the way across. Okay, so now I want this coil, that's what this is called, it's a coil, to be at least as long as this. Not a little longer is better. This is enough. This is plenty. So I'm going to lay it flat. I'm going to use my tool and chop. I'm trying to make these equal pieces. They just go all the way down. And I'm going to then roll these into spheres. That is how I make this. So I've got my pinch pot, and then I'm going to roll these and add it to the edge. So whenever we attach clay, we have to do something. We can't just smush it there and expect it to stay when we cook it in the kiln. It feels like it's gonna stay right now. It feels good and stuck. That's because the clay has water in it. But the clay is going to dry, and then I'm going to bake it in a kiln. It's actually called firing it. It's gonna get very hot. All the moisture will leave, and it will shrink a tiny bit. So if these things are stuck together now, but when I fire them and they shrink, they'll actually shrink apart. So imagine these 2 things are together, but then they shrink a little bit. They separate when they shrink. So I have to join them to make it so that the 2 pieces become one fluid piece, and they cannot shrink apart. So we have 3 methods for joining. They're called scoring, slipping, and smoothing. And if you want to be absolutely certain that nothing falls apart, you would do all 3. But in certain situations, you can do 1 or 2. In this situation, I think we're going to be fine with smoothing, and I'll show you that in a minute. But first, we need a coil around the top. So my last piece of clay, still using stop sign hands, squishing it into a hot dog shape, and then rolling it into a coil. All right, I want it about as thick as my current rim. This is the rim or the top of the pot. All right, this side looks pretty good. Gets a little skinny here, a little wide here. So I'm going to concentrate on what's too wide for a minute. try to get this whole thing even all the way across. I think that's pretty good. Now for this, I only need it to go the width. So I'm gonna let it overlap and then pick it up and slice through here. So if I take my tool and slice straight through, I can remove these extra pieces here, the little one and the big one, and then this should fit together and be the exact right size that I need. And it did. All right, so now remember, you might think, I'm done. This is great. It's all staying together, but no, no, no. We need it to stay together after it cooks to like 1,000 or more degrees. So notice inside here, it's all smoothed out. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put one hand on the back to support the wall, and the other thumb or finger is going to swipe down. Oops, I almost lost a sphere. And you're going to swipe through the entire inside, smoothing it out completely. So once it's all the way smooth on the inside, leaving the coil, leaving the spheres, then you're done. You're gonna put your name on the bottom.